Coming up on this episode, lots of information on the full self-driving beta. Tesla has a secret energy storage project. We take a look into Tesla's service ticketing system named MacGyver, and we get the latest installment of FUDBusters. This is Tesla Tidbits episode number 645 for March 14th, 2021. We start the week this time with news of the FSD Beta Expansion, as Elon broke minds on Twitter this week, saying that not only was the invitation-only beta expanding, but that very soon, essentially anyone that wanted in could get in. More on that in a moment, though. To start with, we covered Elon kicking off festivities on the last show with his tweet saying, quote, "If you want the Tesla full self-driving beta downloaded to your car, let us know. Doubling beta program size now with 8.2 and probably 10 times size with 8.3. Still be careful, but it's getting mature," end quote. This produced a lot of excitement and also wonderment on exactly how to get in, since Elon didn't exactly say how to quote-unquote let us know. Eventually, this issue was solved with him tweeting the solution the next day. Quote, "Due to high levels of demand for FSD beta, adding download beta button to service section of car display in about 10 days, end quote. He also elaborated on how exactly to expect the button to work once you get in and press the button. Quote, "Assuming user approves warning and agrees to drive carefully, it will download latest QA-tested FSD beta build as soon as car connects to Wi-Fi," end quote. He then did follow up with a level set for everyone, saying additionally, quote, "Availability varies by region due to regulatory approval delays and or Tesla internal development and testing. Note, word beta is used to reduce complacency in usage and set expectations appropriately. All software is first tested internally by Tesla simulation and QA drive teams," end quote. So this solved the issue on how to get in, though it appears that some folks did get in the old-fashioned way, as was mentioned originally too, as on Friday he tweeted, quote, "FSD beta has now been expanded to about 2,000 owners, and we've also revoked beta where drivers did not pay sufficient attention to the road. No accidents to date. Next significant release will be in April, going with pure vision, not even using radar. This is the way to real-world AI," end quote. So for those that have purchased FSD, you can expect the button to show up via a software update soon, probably before the next show publishes, and if not then, definitely before episode 647. Of course, heed all of the usual warnings about Elon time, as you never truly know when features will be launched, even when Elon gives hard timelines. Also super interesting was that apparently some folks were acting a fool and got the beta taken away from them. As I've said before, people, this is why we can't have nice things. But thankfully, Tesla has no obligation to make beta software available to anybody and did the right thing by yanking their access. But the news for FSD was not complete. James Locke tweeted asking if Canada could get into this round, and Elon responded saying, quote, "Should be very soon. Many subtle differences between US and Canada roads, so harder than it seems," end quote. Of course, again, a very nebulous time frame, even for Elon standards, but hope for our friends up north. Lastly, at Eurotech Junkie on Twitter tweeted at Elon saying, quote, "We demand the button in Europe," end quote. They did get a response from him saying, quote, "We will ask the regulators," end quote. Not a ringing endorsement on that one, but hey, maybe it at least gets the ball rolling on a new continent for FSD testing. Tidbit number 2 this week comes from Bloomberg and is actually one of several projects looking to fix the problem that plagued Texas when it froze over and left millions without power. As fans of the company, we're well aware of the energy side of the business scoring huge projects for battery storage, but this is one that, for whatever reason, is being kept under wraps. According to the article, Tesla has a subsidiary called Gambit Energy Storage, LLC, which is the one working on the project. It's located in a small town in Texas called Angleton, not too far south of Houston. The article says the battery is a 100 megawatt solution, and it's largely being kept hidden with tarps or covers of some sort, and the workers shooing people away. Oddly though, some of those same workers bear Tesla logos on their hard hats, and anyone willing to chase the paper trail of the company's ownership can confirm who the straw that stirs the drink is. It appears that Tesla purchased this project from Plus Power, a San Francisco-based company that builds supplemental battery installations in various states in the US. Plus Power confirmed the sale to an unnamed company, but provided no further detail. As they're not the only battery down there, it would be interesting to know why Tesla would buy out another project But regardless, they're definitely providing an assist to help ensure the nightmare that occurred back in February doesn't happen again. Tidbit number 3 is a nugget for our friends in India, courtesy of Tasmanian. This is purely rumor for the moment, but so was Tesla entering the country for business too. On the heels of that announcement, another thing that needs secured, of course, is the ability to charge on the road, and that means expanding the supercharging network into the country. Unnamed sources claim that Tesla is now working with Tata Power to make this happen. Tata already has experience with its own EV charging network in India. Reuters did get a comment from Tata Power saying that the original report that came from CNBC TV 18 was quote-unquote factually incorrect, but exactly what was inaccurate was not elaborated on. Quick note for tidbit number 4 is that Tesla tweeted video of the Semi on the Fremont test track. The Semi has been largely missing in action as to any real news or movement toward production since its introduction back in 2017. After several delays, it would appear that Tesla is gearing up to actually make progress on the long-awaited truck, given the official promotion by the company. I'll keep an eye out for updates, as this may be one of the most important vehicles in the Tesla lineup from an emissions perspective. Tidbit number 5 is a rather fun and interesting story about how your service is handled with Tesla, courtesy of Tasmanian. We've all probably noticed that it's quite literally not possible to reach a Tesla service center on the first call, as the company is directing you to use the app to initiate service inquiries. Tasmanian's article likely explains exactly why this is. It's no secret that the Tesla service experience varies wildly depending on location. While I've had nothing but awesome experiences myself the few times I've had the occasion to invoke service, others have not been as fortunate. It would seem that Tesla believes the solution, as is the case with a lot of Tesla solutions, was writing custom software to handle the problem. Say hello to MacGyver, the new Tesla service system. When you create a service request in the Tesla app, MacGyver immediately queries your vehicle to get the status of your vehicle, as well as query for current faults and anything that may be related to the category that you chose for your service request. This gets bundled up into a folder for the human technician that provides in-house information to resolve your issue and orders any necessary parts automatically, and likely before the tech has even seen this package. This helps speed the whole process up, as whether the part is needed or not, it's highly likely that another vehicle may need the same part later, even if you don't. So if you need it, it's already on its way as fast as it could possibly be ordered, and if someone else needs it, they'll have no wait at all. A simple but very effective concept, and one that attacks one of the core issues of Tesla service, which is time to repair. Lastly this week, we go back to our favorite segment, FUDBusters. Haven't had to do one of these in a while, which has been quite refreshing, but unfortunately, CNBC dumped a massive steaming turd onto the internet that has gotten enough traction that it needs addressing. Like, seriously, this is Hall of Shame level FUD. The clickbait article headline reads, quote, "A federal agency warns Tesla tests unfinished driverless tech on its users," end quote. The article and its hand-wringing stems from a letter from National Transportation Safety Board Chief Robert Sumwalt to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration that asked for change in its regulation of autonomous driving technology, where they have chosen generally to not enforce any regulations at this time to encourage the development of the technology. The first thing to note from the article is an excerpt from Sumwalt's letter referencing the FSD beta. Quote, Tesla recently released a beta version of its Level 2 Autopilot system, described as having full self-driving capability. By releasing the system, Tesla is testing on public roads a highly automated AV technology, but with limited oversight or reporting requirements, end quote. He went on to conclude that, quote, NHTSA's hands-off approach to oversight of AV testing poses a potential risk to motorists and other road users, end quote. Regulators gonna regulate, right? Except that the CNBC article leaves it at that, as though FSD beta testers are this menace to the road that must be stopped. The article fails to mention that there have literally been 0 incidents with this testing, and not only that, but that Tesla has revoked access to the beta by testers it believed to be abusing the system. So what more do you want there? In fact, nowhere in this lengthy article is anything about how the system actually performs. Nada. Zip. 0. The article goes on to recycle the tired old FUD about owners confusing the Autopilot name as being confusing that the system is a hands-free system, despite anyone that's ever driven a Tesla knowing that there's a notice on every activation of the system that their hands must be on the wheel at all times, and constant nags if the system doesn't believe you're doing so. The next bit of disingenuous wordplay is about the FSD system itself. When corresponding with the California Department of Motor Vehicles last year, Tesla categorized the FSD system as level 2. Of course it would do that, because all normal users of the system are indeed still driving a level 2 system if they've purchased full self-driving. While those that have purchased the full self-driving package are entitled to bonus features, such as navigate on Autopilot and Smart Summon, the system is still a level 2 system. But rather than actually inform readers of this, CNBC conveniently leaves this out so that it might be assumed that Tesla is a mustache-twirling villain instead of the nothing burger that this actually is. But the last and most heinous bit of the FUD in the article is when they trot out hedge fund manager Taylor Ogan of Snowbull Capital. I'm sure Ogan is a nice guy, but in this instance, he's the literal dictionary definition of the useful idiot. Webster defines this as, quote, a naive or credulous person who can be manipulated or exploited to advance a cause or political agenda, end quote. Like maybe the capstone to a story full of BS, perhaps. To lend Ogan an air of credibility, CNBC notes that Ogan's hedge fund has never short-sold, has historically been a Tesla shareholder, and that he personally drives a 2020 Model Y Performance equipped with full self-driving, which is his 4th Tesla. However, you'll note a key omission there. He is not a full self-driving beta tester. If he were, you can bet your butt that they would have noted that in the article and given him some actual credibility as being knowledgeable on the subject. And from the quote you're about to hear, he apparently hasn't seen any of the hundreds of YouTube videos from people who are, either. They quote him saying, quote, my car cannot navigate autonomously in a parking lot, so I don't know why people think these will operate as robotaxis. Our opinion is that Tesla cannot achieve level 3 or level 4 autonomy, which means no robotaxis, anytime soon with their current hardware, end quote. Sorry, Mr. Ogan, it already is. Just open a web browser to YouTube and search for Tesla FSD, and you'll see all the proof you need. That'll do it for that takedown, and for this week's show as well. Thanks to all my patrons supporting the show at patreon.com/Tesla Tidbits. As always, I have a special shout out to all the super patrons supporting the show at the $10 plus level. They are Ryan Scarborough, Lee Sweet, William Henry Crew III, Dorian Steve Guberman, Ralph and Cheryl Waterhouse, Todd Sullivan, Zortech LED Canada, Raymond and Deborah Malkowitz, Vicky Kirk, Ricky Johnston, Nathan Garza, Ed Patterman, Sunil Joseph, and Brad Lettner. If you have feedback for me, the best way to be heard is to tweet at Tesla Tidbits and use the hashtag AskTeslaTidbits if you'd like your question to be considered for the show. Until next week, keep it charged and hit the road.